Hi everyone, happy Sunday. So I know the schedule that I had on my community page has went completely awry, and I'll talk about that a little bit at the end of the video, but instead of getting this out Friday, this is coming out today. Um, and like I said, I'll just talk a little bit about what's next at the end of the video. But here are my completed pages for March. All right, before we get started on the books, I had to scratch this out because I keep forgetting I do this at the start of every month. Um, so for March, I got about 17 pages, which is less than my average, but it's just been a busy month. Again, I just can't seem to get a handle on things, and things just can't seem to calm down, mostly just work-wise. I colored 17 pages out of 15 books. I only got 4 pages from the 10 books to finish. I was really hoping to have more this month. In fact, I was really hoping to be close to completing one, and it just wasn't in the cards. 6 non-color by number versus 11 color by number. Then during the month, I used a little less than I have been in the previous months. Again, just my creative mindset just took a nosedive this month, and so I used the Pretty Excellent watercolors, alcohol and water-based markers. The one big takeaway from this month was I tried pastels, which I haven't used very much in the past unless it's just a background here and there. And when I tried pastels, I tried pastel pencils, pan pastel, Jane Davenport pastels, and Pebbles chalk. So March was really the month of the pastels for me. So I did try some new things. I learned a lot. I found a way I think I enjoy coloring in books by Alexandra Franzese and possibly Joshua Dunbar, those types of books, and using these types of pastels. So also used acrylic paint pens, glitter markers, and glitter gel pens. So yeah, not as big of a list as the previous months, but I just didn't have the creative go juice, so to speak, that I had in the first few months. So, all right, let's get started. I need a new desk light. This one has a issue with the cord where it just becomes loose randomly, and it's a real pain in my keister. Okay, so what I do is I start first with the non-color by numbers. I cover the George Tofexis books in the middle, which are color by number, but I think a lot of people tend to like those even if they don't like any other color by number, and then I will finish up with the color by number books. Alright, so 50 jungle miniatures. This is part of my 10 books to finish. I was making really good progress in January. February I started getting behind, and this month I only did 1 picture. So not going well. However, and I started in the back of the book. One thing I've noticed, pages trying to tear on me. One thing I've noticed is if you are trying to use a lot of mediums in these 50-page books, it gets very difficult to wield. And some of these pages are getting wrinkled and they're just not looking the best. So yeah, just something to learn. Probably from here on out, I am going to use mostly marker and pastel in these books, though I will try some watercolors every now and then. Alright, so here's my picture for this month. I tried the Pretty Excellent watercolors. I used satin glazing liquid as a base, and I tried to be a little more freeform with the watercolors in the background, and I don't know. Like, I see other people's pictures, and I know part of it's the paper. Even though I treated the paper, it's still not going to act the same as it would on better paper. I see other people do that, and I'm like, oh, it looks so cool. But then I do it, and it just, to me, it just looks messy. Like, it drives me crazy. So I don't know how I feel about that. But the rest of the picture is also watercolor with the exception of the black, which I filled in using a pastel on the brain, a pit pen, and filled in, used glitter gel pens on the eyes just, and on the swings just to give it a little bit of shine. So I think the approach I'm making in the Alexandra Franzese books with the marker and then pastel over, I'm probably going to try in here for a while, just to get past a lot of these really messy looking pages. But I do have some catching up to do. And my blue also bled into this one, so I've got to, I'm probably going to black out all around, like, and then just do a circle or something right there is probably what I'm going to do to try to combat that. So, yeah, a lesson for me, if I was going to play around with watercolors, I should have picked a smaller book rather than the 50-page book. But that's okay. All right, so we had a pastel journey this month. I do plan to do a video that features all of these specific pastel pictures. I talk about each type of pastel, and then just kind of summarize it all together. But of course, you are always more than welcome, and I'll put cards up here where applicable, to go back during the month if there is a particular video that catches your eye. Every Tuesday I did a demo with a new type of pastels, and this month we featured the Alexandra Franzese books because these were the books I really wanted to try this in on Amazon paper, and also because her Cute and Whatever series, it worked really well for my color along this month, which was Alphabet Color 2022C. So these are in no particular order of my demo videos, but I will put those up on the top right. Here we go. All right, so this one I think is my personal favorite out of all of them this month because I used a marker base and then went over with the Derwent pastel pencils. I had just the 12 set. And in terms of just, because I don't just do the background with the pastels this month, I shaded everything with them, just to see if I could do it and how it would look. And I really liked the control I had with the pencils. In fact, I'm still going to keep my colored pencils, of course, because I still do like coloring with colored pencils. And there'll be some pictures that I do nothing but colored pencils, but I'll be honest, my pastel pencils over marker, and you'll see another example of that here in a minute, seem to be the way to go for me to get the shading I want without, with a blendable medium. So this cute little rabbit, this turned out really, really cool. I was very pleased with these. And so, yeah. That led me to go treat myself to the full set of the Derwent pencils. And so far, there have been a few pencils in the pack that gave me some trouble. I went ahead and ordered some ones that just, maybe something was wrong with the formula and they just didn't seem to lay down and then smooth out like they should as pastel pencils. So we will see. It could just simply be the type of color they are. It's impossible to get the same lay down, and I had a couple that didn't want to sharpen and I lost some of it, but with any pencil pack you're going to generally have issues even with, you know, high-end pencils. So y'all will get to see a picture in a minute though that I used with the whole set, so I'm very pleased I bought them. Alright, Cute and Magical by Alexandra Franzese. This one I used the Pebbles chalk, and while I thought this turned out cute, but I mean, like, I wasn't, like, I guess overwhelmed by it. It felt, I think it's the flowers, that type of pink. It just, I wanted the pink to be brighter. I tend to go more towards brighter, more vibrant stuff, but man, y'all seem to love this one on Instagram. And so I was like, all right, that's cool. I mean, it's cute. I really love my little mushroom guys. I think they turned out absolutely perfect. But this was using the Pebbles chalk. and using just the 30 basic colors set over marker, of course. I also learned I really like taking a marker for the background and just going over, and you could see it in the other one, maybe better in this one, just outlining, just taking and outlining the image itself. I know other people have done that, but I've never tried it myself. And then of course from that I pulled out some pastel, and I like that look. That is probably what I'm going to try in 50 jungle miniatures next, instead of trying to do the whole background, just to save me some time. Let's do cute and lovely. I did this one. This was actually the very first one I tried with the Jane Davenport pastels. And this was the chilled palette, and I thought it turned out really cute. I would be curious, now that I went through a whole month of using these, like if I went back, could I get the background any smoother? That I don't know. But I really liked the colors in this palette. They were just unique colors. And then I of course used marker, and then I used a little bit of gel pen and a little bit of stickle to play around with it. And I really like the colors in them. She does have other palettes, but I so far can't find them anywhere on sale right now. So, and then finally on my pastel journey, we tried pan pastels in Country Chibis, and we got this lady who I did not post to Instagram just because I just forgot to. Really and truly, I was there was a lot going on with work and stuff, and I was just exhausted, and it never came to be. So the pan pastels were interesting. They are definitely a professional pastel, so really and truly comparing them to even just the pastel pencils, well, the pastel pencils are a different type because I guess they're in a different format, but comparing them to a Pebbles chalk or Jane Davenport is a little disingenuous, just because they are definitely a professional pastel set. They are pricey. I only have the I did the whole, oh, I need these, an impulse buy, and I got the what do you call it, the portrait set. That's it, and hadn't touched them since. So I thought I would try them on here, and which was interesting just because I was kind of limited in the colors I had, and they worked fantastic on the background. These are really good if you know of an artist that does like pastel pictures. I'm sure pan pastels are what they initially use, from what I've seen in on YouTube. They initially use them. They usually come in with pastel pencils to create like details, like in pet portraits. They would, you know, do base out the fur in the pastel, then come in with the pastel pencils to actually add in the fur strokes. And so a little bit definitely goes a long way with them. I struggled a bit with them just because of that. But overall, she turned out cute. And I probably won't buy any more pan pastels, just because the way I use them like this isn't really the best way to use them. And because of their price, it doesn't make any sense. The ones I have, I will have forever. I don't know, maybe one day if I know somebody who's a pastel artist or something, I will gift it to them. So they were the most difficult ones for me to deal with, and I still don't know how I feel about them right now. So, and like I said, for how I use them, they're fantastic for what they are. The way I'm using pastels, they don't work for me, so it really doesn't make any sense to invest a lot of money. And the only difference being is you get a lot of different colors. That's the one key there, is I would get a lot more color choice with those than I would probably any of the other palette pastel sets. Hi, Sid. Hang on a second. Alright, so I mentioned I got the full set of the Derwent pastel pencils. My friend Tammy from Tammy Colors 2 and I are doing a buddy color project out of this book, And I was going to wait and post this till she was done with hers, but I'm going to wait and post it to Instagram then. I figured I'd go ahead and share it here, because if I don't, I will completely forget about it. This is Baby Dragons by Jade Summer. We were trying to pick one of the pictures that had something with a C in it, of course, for the color along, and we picked the cauldron picture. And so here is the full use of, like, the full set of the pastel pencils over marker. And I've got to say, like I said, I think this is going to be my go-to for shading over marker, is going to be pastels. Particularly pastel pencils if I really want to use some unique colors. But if I have like a base color set for the other sets I have, I will be using those. So yeah, it was just marker base. I used a white acrylic pen to line that there. I used white gel pen for the stars. A little bit of a gold gel pen for the fence here. I used a glitter marker for the whatever is in this cauldron, which was the C I was looking for this picture. And golly, it's like it got so bright for a second. Maybe it was since I turned this thing on. There we go, that's a little better. And yeah, so I just slapped down a marker base and then outlined with the pastel pencil, and then basically you just use Q-tips for the small detail areas to give me that shading I was looking for. And I really dig it. I really do. It is a lot smoother looking than I can get with pencils, particularly on Amazon paper. So I think pastel pencils are definitely going to be a go-to for me in the future. So we'll have to see how they do in some of the other books out there. So there is that one. Alright, so now we get to the two George Tofexis books I colored in. The first one, Country Scenes Color by Number, I did a buddy color with Ren Kelly here on YouTube and on Instagram. And of course, Country Scenes, though Creative Haven was the overall C for these books, and we did this picture. Now, I like the Country Scenes book, and I keep forgetting until I actually, look at it, and that this one has some really unique colors with how he does the pictures. Like, there's a lot more, I don't know how to explain it. It's got a lot brighter colors than you would imagine. And I like that. And it's also not as complex as some of his other books. So if you do want to try a George Tofexis and you don't want to get like a super detailed one, I think Country Scenes is one of the good choices for that. So I like it when she and I do buddy colors in the George Tofexis books, because she does hers in I think Prisma pencils, and then I do mine in marker, and you get to see it in both. And I don't know, I always enjoy seeing it both ways, so I think it turns out really cool. And then Endless Summer, I finished a whip in here, at least one I got to finish this month. This is his latest book. I did this one. And y'all really enjoyed the George Tofexis pictures, and so do I. So I try to do at least one a month. I really wanted to do one in his cats book this month too, but that didn't happen. So we'll have to go with another month on that. Yeah, sadly, I just did not get to color all the cats I wanted this month. I think only colored one cat, which is kind of sad. Easter Ceramic. Now, this is all just regular run-of-the-mill color by number. So if this is not your thing, I completely get it. Thanks for sticking around. I might be taking a bit of a break, and I'll talk more about that at the end of the video, but just FYI on that, I'll put more info in the community tab depending on what actually comes to pass. So, alright, so for everybody else, Easter Ceramic Tile Color by Number, I picked this up this month, or last month, from Prachi Dewan Sachdiva, and I did this little fella. I will probably color a few more in here, at least for April, A lot of it's going to depend on my coloring mood, but this is definitely one of the books I'll be keeping to color in. So I love the colors in this. I really like the lamb. The lamb and the chick here might be two that I'm in particular going to try to get done this month. I also picked up Circulism Art Books, A Stroll with Nature by A.J. Quinnell, or Eclipse. And I did one in here. I did this pretty little cardinal on the shiny paper that is picking up all the light. I'd like to do another one in that one this month too. Stained Glass Wildlife. Yeah, I did embrace the color by numbers a bit more at the beginning of the month in the evenings, and then kind of just got off coloring entirely for the last week or two. But I can go ahead and tell y'all, unless the second half of April calms down, April's probably going to be way more color by number and not nearly as many pages as usual. So that's kind of what I was getting at. Stained Glass Wildlife. Also picked this up. Color by number by Such and Such Diva. Oh, the chick, by the way, in the Easter ceramic tiles was for Alphabet Color 2022C. Cardinal was also for Alphabet Color. Alphabet Color 2022C. Here I have this lovely cheetah. Actually really like, at first I wasn't too sure about the whole like mustard ketchup kind of border there. But then I don't know, it kind of works, honestly, with all the greens and the browns in the background. It gives it a nice little Art Deco kind of bold pop of color. I actually ended up really liking this one. Here is my one lone cat for the month. This is part of my 10 books to finish. Also by Such and Such Diva, Cute Cats Color by Number. And I did this guy, or girl. I am having issues. My spring markers are starting to dry out. And I'm a little bummed by that because really in the grand scheme of things, I have not had them that long. And so kind of a con against them. So just for fun, I grabbed the Cali Arts that I've had sitting in here. They're actually right up here. I've had sitting since the very first summer I started coloring, which was almost 4 years ago. And this is what I got from them. Like, they are still super juicy for being as old as they are. Like, I think only the Copics have rivaled them in terms of staying power. So that is something for me. Now, has Cali Arts formula changed in 4 years? That is the question. So I can't say Cali Arts markers, if you buy them now, will last that long. But the ones from back then seem to last that long. So I found that interesting. Stained Glass Color by Number for Adults by Color Questopia. This was my first page in here. And I did the castle, which turned out really cute. A lot of times if it's a big stretch of one number, like the whole blue sky is 18, which is a light blue, I usually will alternate colors just to give it a little more texture, a little more depth to it, I guess. Texture's the wrong word here. But that one turned out really nice. I like that one a lot. Stylish Animals. So this isn't on my 10 books to finish, but this may be because, you know, I always allow myself in the middle of the year to swap out if I need to. I don't know if it's in the official rules, but I allow myself to do it. And this may take the place of another book, because I really enjoy using the water-based markers in this book. And it is a lot of fun for just sitting there, you know, just trying to knock out something in an hour or two, because it's such a smaller book. I'm going to call him a crocodile, so he classifies for my color along this month. We have this guy getting his gains, yo. He's probably just a lizard or something, but I'll call him a crocodile. And then I have this Mo Bunny penguin here who looks like he's living a better life than I am. Now, I just bought that new set of the Ohuhu water-based markers. Up until now, where I've run out of some of the colors in my small set, I've had to come in with like a black alcohol marker or fill in for the colors that I didn't have in the water-based ones. But from here on out, I should be able to just use the water-based. They just turn out really bright. Like I really like them. And finally, Country Scenes. This was the one I wanted to finish this month, or at least get very close to finishing, and I didn't. Things are starting to get hazy on which ones I complete in which months. So, this one I can't remember. This might have been last month. If it was, please disregard, but I wanted to go ahead and show it. Again, shiny paper, so it's a little brighter than... I know for sure this one was this month because I did this as a part of the Ukraine color along because of the sunflowers. And there was a picture I really wanted to do this month with watercolors and pastel pencils that involved sunflowers, and it didn't happen, and I'm so bummed. We've seen this one. This, I think, was my last one. And this is where I was using a spray marker and it started to dry out on the cow, but I didn't want to go back all over him with a different color because I was lazy, so he looks a bit streaky. And it's really bright. So, how many do I have left in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8. I have 8 left in here. So, depending on how motivated I feel, this one could be done in the next few months. Okay. So there are my completed pages for March. I did briefly think about waiting and then just combining them with April, but there's a big stack here and I just didn't want to do that. Alright, so plans, just as a brief kind of note here at the end, I don't really know. I am really burnt out. I started having some weird symptoms last week that involved, like, it felt like when I looked it up, it matched up with like neuropathy type symptoms, coldness in certain parts of my body, tingling, numbness in like my feet and in different parts of my body. Like it felt like something wacky was going on with my nerves. Literally with my nerve endings. And it scared me because this came on all of a sudden. And I've been trying to walk the last 2 or 3 weeks a couple times a week because the weather's been nice. And I don't know, I talked to the doctor about it. What we're guessing is because I don't take the Lyrica anymore, because of the side effects, that it could very well be weather changes, seasonal changes are what affect me the most with fibro. And it could very well be because I'm not taking the Lyrica or gabapentin anymore. That usually dulls your nerve sensitivity. So now they're just full on. And due to all the work stress and trying to push physical activity a little bit, I've kind of shorted myself out a bit right at the seasonal change, which that is what affects my body the worst. I can handle it most of the time, but especially when you go from winter to spring or spring to fall, it really wreaks havoc. So it's been a little better the last few days, but I've done nothing but just lay on the couch. I even had to take time off work. I felt that bad. So I don't know what I'm doing in April yet. As of right now, I'm feeling like I want to take a little time off. I don't know if it'll be the whole month. I don't know if it'll just be for the first week or two. We'll kind of have to wait and see. I have yet another pile of work projects for most of this next week, so I haven't felt much like coloring, and I have a feeling if I do feel like coloring, it's just going to be simple color by numbers on the couch. I'm probably not going to want to do a whole lot in here for at least, you know, a couple weeks till hopefully I can get past this flare up. So April's going to be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to do the next month alphabet color along or if we're just going to take a break month and pick it back up in May. I don't know. I'm going to put a announcement on the community page probably about Tuesday to let you guys know what I decide. I'll give myself a couple extra days and we'll figure it out. If I proceed with it for this next month, I will probably do a video Tuesday that shows like some examples of books and themes for April. And if you don't see a video from me, then we're basically just skipping the month. But I will announce it either way on the community page. Like I said, just April's going to be a dial back month a little bit just until I can get past all this seasonal nonsense. And if work could ever calm down for 5 minutes, that would also be great. But yeah, I'm just not feeling all that great. So I'm not going to push myself to do something if I'm not in the mood for it. So we'll just kind of see how April rolls. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up just in case I do get quieter in April. That's why I'm just trying to rest and get through the seasonal fibro issues that I always have every year. And hopefully by May it will be a little better. So thanks guys for watching, and bye for now.